legends as old as time, mysteries that have haunted generations. Welcome to Echoes of Terror, where the supernatural and the unknown collide. From forgotten villages to hidden caves, each corner of the Balkans holds a story waiting to be told. Vampires, witches, and ancient spirits. Are they just myths, or is there something more lurking in the dark? Join us if you dare, as we unravel the spine-chilling secrets of the Balkans. The truth may be closer than you think. In a remote village of Serbia, deep in the shadowy forest, stands an ancient abandoned mill. Its stone walls, once strong and proud, now crumble, and its windows, long shattered, allow the cold wind to pass through, carrying whispers from a forgotten time. The very air around the mill feels different, thicker, heavier, as though the forest itself remembers the horrors that took place there. For centuries, this mill has been a place of fear, a place the villagers only speak of in hushed tones, especially when the sun sinks below the horizon. The path to the mill, overgrown and seldom trodden, leads to the dwelling of something far more sinister than time itself. This is the mill of Sava Savanović, one of Serbia's most infamous and feared vampires. Sava Savanović was not always a creature of the night. Long ago he was a man, one of flesh and blood, a miller himself, whose life was ordinary until his untimely death. Some say he was a cruel man even before his transformation. Others claim he was cursed by a rival, jealous of his success. But whatever the truth may be, his death did not bring peace. Instead, it brought a curse, one that tied him to the world of the living, condemning him to an eternity of shadow and hunger. As a vampire, Sava was bound to the mill, lurking in the darkest corners, hiding behind the grinding stones, waiting patiently for the next unfortunate soul to wander in. For years, the mill continued to operate. Unsuspecting millers, eager to grind their grain, would enter during the day, unaware of the terror that awaited them after sunset. At night, the mill became a trap, a place where the darkness took on a life of its own. The old gears would stop turning, the grindstones would fall silent, and the mill would become eerily still. It was in this silence that Sava would strike. Those who stayed too late, too deep into the night, never emerged. Their bodies were found days later, drained of blood, their faces frozen in expressions of pure terror. The villagers, horrified, began to speak of the curse. Whispers spread like wildfire through the town. It wasn't long before everyone knew the name of Sava Savanović. Parents warned their children to never go near the mill, especially after dark. Even the bravest men of the village refused to step foot near the cursed place. The fear was so great that the village elders held meetings, trying to decide what should be done. But no one was willing to face the evil that had taken root there. As the years went by, the villagers stopped using the mill altogether. They sought other ways to grind their grain, traveling far beyond the village borders to ensure their safety. The once bustling mill became silent, forgotten by the living but never by the dead. Nature slowly began to reclaim it. Vines climbed the walls, the roof sagged, and animals made their nests within the rotting beams. But Sava remained. Some nights, when the wind is still, the villagers claim they can hear strange sounds coming from the mill. The clinking of gears, the soft creaking of wood, and more disturbingly, the echo of footsteps, slow, deliberate, pacing back and forth inside the mill. Those who live closest to the forest swear they've seen red eyes glowing in the dark, peering from the shadows, watching, always watching. It is said that Sava's spirit remains restless, bound to the place of his curse, forever seeking the blood of the living. The elders tell of a time when brave souls ventured into the mill to confront Sava's spirit. Hunters armed with holy water, stakes, and crosses marched toward the mill, hoping to end the vampire's reign of terror. They entered with confidence, but the night swallowed them whole. None returned. Their bodies, if they were ever found, were so disfigured that they were unrecognizable. Their blood drained entirely, leaving nothing but empty husks. This only deepened the villagers' fear, and they swore never to send another into the mill's cursed embrace. But the tale of Sava Savanović does not end there. The village has changed over time. New generations have come and gone, each learning the legend of the vampire. Some choose to dismiss the story as mere folklore, a scary tale meant to keep children from wandering into the forest at night. But there are still those who believe, those who say that Sava's evil lives on, stronger than ever. On quiet nights when the moon is full and the wind stops blowing, villagers claim that the very air around the mill changes. It becomes thick with an unnatural stillness, as if time itself pauses. The trees stand unnaturally still, their leaves motionless, and a heavy silence blankets the area. It is during these moments, they say, that Sava's whispers can be heard, faint at first, carried on the lightest of breezes, but growing louder, clearer, until they fill the air with an eerie chant, Some claim to have heard him calling their names. Others say they've heard the unmistakable word, blood. To this day, no one dares approach the mill after nightfall. The few who have wandered too close claim to have felt an overwhelming sense of dread, a heaviness that presses on their chest, making it difficult to breathe. They speak of unseen eyes watching them from the trees, of strange sounds that seem to come from all directions, and of an icy chill that crawls up their spine. Even the animals seem to avoid the area. Birds fall silent when they approach, and no forest creature dares cross the threshold of the cursed mill. Yet despite the fear, there are always those who are drawn to the mill. Curiosity is a powerful force, and some cannot resist the lure of the unknown. Over the years, a handful of thrill-seekers and adventurers have tried to spend the night inside the mill. Armed with modern tools, flashlights, cameras, and recording devices, they enter with bravado, dismissing the warnings of the locals. But something always goes wrong. Batteries drain inexplicably, equipment fails, and more often than not, these visitors flee the mill in terror, unable to explain the strange occurrences they witnessed. The legend of Sava Savanović continues to grow. His name, once whispered only in fear, has become part of the region's identity. Tourists occasionally come, drawn by the tale of Serbia's most famous vampire, but few stay long. The villagers, while willing to share the story, always end with the same warning.
Do not go near the mill. Do not tempt the dead.
For those who live nearby, the legend is not just a story, it is a part of their reality. Even now, on quiet nights when the moon is high and the wind is still, they can feel his presence. They know that Sava Savanović is still there, waiting. Perhaps he sleeps, or perhaps he watches from the shadows, biding his time, waiting for the day when he will rise again. Would you dare visit the mill where Sava once hunted? Would you face the darkness and test the legend for yourself? Or would you, like the villagers, choose to stay away, knowing that some evils never truly die? The darkness of the Balkans is deep, and its legends eternal. If today's story left you wondering what else lies hidden in these ancient lands, make sure to subscribe and follow us for more. Until next time, be careful what you believe.